Hi there, welcome back to the breadboard. I have in front of me the HIKMICRO Mini2 version 2 thermal imager to have a look at. This was sent to me kindly by HIKMICRO. I'm going to have an unboxing and a quick overview, getting it going on my phone to see what's what. First of all, we'll have a quick whip around the outside of the box. So, imager, HIKMICRO viewer, that's an app we need to download for the phone. In my case, it's going to be an Android. USB connection, that's the one right on the camera. We have a lightning adapter inside as well, and I believe there is also a USB-C extension adapter. So views around the box, image of it connected to a phone, some support and URLs for the device, 256 by 192 IR detector. That would imply that it has quite a nice IR sensor in this. So for the price, if that's correct, that would be awesome. To have that much resolution in the IR is pretty cool. 25 Hertz frame rate, battery free. Obviously you're plugging it into your phone. It's going to draw the power to run itself from your phone battery. So that's what's on the outside of the box. Let's open it up and see what else we've got. Okay, switch to a side view so that we can see better. Let's pull this out. Packaging. So first thing, looks like we've got documentation on the top. I have a thank you card from HIKMICRO. Links to App Store, Google Play, tech support, and I guess online help. Manual, quite thick, quick start guide. It's in dozens of different languages, so pretty much covering everybody. We'll go without that for now. Okay, so what we've got left is a hardback container for it. Let's get inside here, see what we have. Okay, we've got the camera. We have two adapters, USB-C to USB-C, a little extension, and a lightning adapter for Apple devices that still have lightning. So let's pull these out of the container. And we also have an USB-C extension cable. That I believe will allow you to plug into your phone and have a bit more freedom as to how you position the camera. On the camera we see written on the front, it's stating 256 by 192. That is the native IR resolution of the camera, which is pretty good because I've found a lot of times cameras have a 96 by 96 actual IR resolution, and it's enhanced up to higher resolutions, which is what they kind of talk about. Anyway, nice small device, no batteries, no nothing, because it's obviously powered by the phone. So let's get it hooked up to a phone and see how it goes. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is load the application onto your phone. I've already done that myself. You just follow the QR code or go to the app or Play Store and search for HIKMICRO Viewer, download, install it. If you're familiar with your phone, you'll already know how to do that. So I'm going to fire this up and going to plug in the camera. Right now I've got it facing me. It should find it automatically, which it has. So there we go, we're already operating. We have a number of menu items available immediately on the screen. Super IR, which will do an image enhancement. We've got picture in picture, so that's actually looking at the rear camera. I don't know if you can change it to the front camera, but why would you? Normally you'd be videoing or taking pictures of structures like the inside of a wall to look for heat loss, or an engine or something like that. So whilst I've got my camera facing forward at the moment, just so you can see it, normally it would be facing the other way. And then you would have a picture-in-picture, which you can move around nicely. Let me just get rid of the picture-in-picture a second. So we can see a couple of dots floating around here. There's one fixed in the middle, which is your center temperature. So you can move that to different places. So if I point that to something that's not so hot, you can see it's saying 22. If I point it to my neck, it's like 35 degrees right there. That's all working nicely. We've got auto calibration on off. We've got a manual calibration. So the auto calibration will freeze the screen just a few seconds while it's doing it. Ability to rotate the screen 90 degrees. Again, again, and again. So if you have the camera, if you were wanting it to work in this orientation For example, you can just flip the screen. So on the bottom of the, sorry, keep going out of view here, we've got the ability to select measurements. So right now we've got 3 measurements on the screen. You can actually turn these off if you like. So now you've got none. You can put a point, and then you would select a point to measure. So you can see there's right on my neck area. And so if you have an image, you can actually just point on things and check what temperature they are. You notice how with my glasses it can't see through them. Usually with some plastics, thermal imaging will not work. You can draw a rectangle and it will figure out where you are within that area. It will do measurements, high, low, and average. You can draw a line. So you just draw a line across the screen and it will give you a profile across that line. Now I have both of these on. But you can have multiple: image, rectangle, line, and a point, I guess. You'll see. Yep, the point's working, so you can have all 3 of these running at the same time. I guess most of the time though you would normally run with these 3 on and the point off. How do I get rid of all those? Okay, anyway, so properties, you can pick different image color profiling. Okay, as we can see here, quite a few of those. You can use brightness, increase the brightness of your image, tune it down, back to about the middle. Contrast, same deal, sharpness, and color distribution. So you can have a histogram or linear. So that's a very, very quick rundown through there. Now I'm going to have a wander around the house. I won't video while I'm doing it, but I'll come back with a bunch of pictures. I'll photograph some outside walls, doorways, cats if they'll stay still long enough, and maybe a couple of other things just to test out the imaging. Pretty much everything for a quick review. Let's have a look at how much power this actually takes. I'm going to get my USB power meter. Okay, so I've got my power meter hooked in, and right now we're reading 60 milliamps or 62 milliamps, about 300 milliwatts or 0.3 watts of power consumption. So with a fully charged phone, that should last a reasonable amount of time. We're not doing capture though at the moment, so it may be a little lower than when it's actually operational. I tried connecting it into my phone. I'll do that again. It's powering up, but it's not recognizing through my power adapter what's being drawn. Still the same power and current though. But right now you can see it doesn't take a huge amount of power, and it's in line with what the documentation claims for its power consumption. Anyway, there is also a application for Windows which is called HIKMICRO Analyzer, which would allow you to analyze the pictures and everything else that you've taken. So let's just go and have a look at that. Where is it? I already have downloaded the application. You can get it straight from the HIKMICRO website. I'll provide a link in the description. Okay, it's time to install the Windows application, HIKMICRO Analyzer. And you go to the HIKMICRO website, download it. I've already done that part of it. And you just run the install. We'll say yes. Quick install after you agree to the licensing. So licensing service is just installing. Installation complete. We'll open the application. We'll accept the path to the analyzer. And it suggests a directory for the HIKMICRO Analyzer onto pictures, so we'll just confirm that. And we're in. Let's just maximize this. So what we've got here is a quick access for captures and recordings. This is going to the hard drive, but I believe we can actually do connect to the camera as well. So I've just got the camera sitting just to the side a bit. The cable is not quite long enough to reach my USB port. So now if you go select device, you can see the camera is showing up. So we'll click on connect. And hopefully, there we go. So the camera is now working again. But with a much obviously bigger view. Everything seems to be working just fine there. I'm just going to put this down a second. Just going to leave it pointing at a couple of things. That's a monitor and some lights and things like that just for the moment. So we've got temperature range. We can select different temperature range. depending on what you're trying to measure. This is live view right now. Focusing mode, but there is no focus on this. We've got capture, video recording frame rate, 25 frames per second. This is capturing images every time I press the button. So if I just point it at me, point it at my monitor, you can definitely see where the LEDs or CFLs are for the monitor. So let's just put this down a second, where it was. Looking up at my camera right now. Capture interval, so you can do time lapse with this as well in this application. Device control. Now, one of the things that I did notice is if you are recording video, where are we? We're recording video. Capture and recording. So this one I think is for video capture. So we'll say OK to that this time instead of cancel. And now we are recording the actual video. So I will play this back in a second. But pointing it around the room. So there's a camera there that's on. You can tell it's facing towards my 3D printers, but you can tell that it's on. In the background there, we've got a camera up to the right, which is right here. And we have a Alexa, which you can't tell that it's on from here, but you can certainly see the heat signature from it. Hot and cold spot cables that are a little bit warm, which is surprising because that's a fiber optic cable. Probably warm just because it's absorbing it from the room. Now, the one nice thing that I did notice with this that the phone has a slight limitation on is that when you're using the phone for the thermal imaging, you are limited to recording 2 minutes of video at a time. But with the PC application, it is working completely unlimited, or it seems to be. I got to 3 minutes or so and it did not stop. I stopped it myself because I wanted to move on with trying things out. I'll let this keep going for a moment while we look at some other things. So you can turn on Super IR. I don't know if you can do that while it's recording. Just wait there. It's got past 2 minutes and it's still recording. So that's a nice thing. So if you were wanting to do long-term profiling of a piece of equipment, an engine, a room, whatever, then you could set this up with a tablet or a laptop or something like that, a Windows machine, and you'll be able to keep videoing for quite a long time. Obviously, if you're on a mobile app, unless you've got a way of, actually, even if you have a way of keeping it charged, you're not, it's limited to 2 minutes of video recording. So we're way past the 2 minute mark. Let's just stop that recording. And we'll say OK. Now we should be able to do analysis now because there is a file which we just made. Oh, I guess we need to load it from the library first. Video recording. So it looks like it's in a specific format. And here we have the video. Can we press play? Yes, we can. Luckily, my own video is going to have audio in it. If we just take that right there, you can see that the pointing tool is still working because the video is stored with the thermal information in it. So we could do a line. We can see the line is a maximum of 30 degrees, probably right as it goes across my face. Minimum of 19, which is about the room temperature, and an average of 24.5. That's pretty good. Overall, there's the image information and it's highlighting the spots for this particular frame. You can also do a box, so we'll just take an eyeball there and you get the same kind of information in the rectangle, min, max, and average. Spot wavy line, extra feature. Guess you can specify an arbitrary shape to measure within as well. Yep, triangles. So plenty of different ways of analyzing. You can edit the information, so you're changing the brightness, contrast, sharpness. Anyway, this is not an in-depth review of this application. What I'm trying to show you here is that the Windows application, I haven't seen it advertised anywhere on the websites or paperwork that actually says, and I haven't gone into detail in the HIKMICRO analyzer documentation, but when you're looking at the actual camera, let me just get back to normal view again because I'm busy talking to you here. Okay, so when you're actually using the camera, let me just get it back in here. It talks about it using it with the mobile device, either iOS or Android, and I'm using it with Android here, of course. But it doesn't talk about the fact that it actually works with Windows. It seems to, on initial pass through the information, it seems to just indicate that you can analyze your captured images, which are all on the phone, by the way, not on the device. So you transfer them off the phone, and you would be able to analyze them in the analyzer software. But a really cool feature is the fact that it actually does work live with the thermal camera in the analyzer software on a Windows PC. So that is awesome. I haven't seen very many cameras that allow you to do that in a live sense. I'm just trying to see here if it's actually available for other computers, and I can't see it. It's just the Windows version here. So yeah, that's a rather useful and very handy feature to have, is to be able to do it on the Windows machine. So what else is left to have a look at on this? Well, let's go to the website. It's sold primarily across Amazon and things like that. So we'll go to amazon.ca and have a look. So just give me a moment. And here is their online page. You can see they actually do quite a large range of cameras. Freestanding, handheld, mini versions. The one we have is this one here, and you can see right now $299, that's Canadian. We're on the .ca website with a $50 coupon, so $250 right now. Here it is telling us that it's 306.36 watts. I think we were a little bit less than that, but we couldn't test it with it running, which would increase the power. Been tested, can run for 46 hours on smartphones and tablets. Depends on the battery, of course. And anyway, I will provide some affiliate links to these cameras for USA and Canada. It doesn't cost you any more money, but it will provide a little bit back to help me run my YouTube channel. I think that's pretty much everything for this quick review. I will be using the camera in a lot of my other videos, building 3D printers and other electronics projects and experiments and things going forward. My previous cameras have been quite big and unable to record information. Right? I have a camera here which is a FLIR digital multimeter with a built-in thermal camera. And it is actually only a 96 by 96 resolution on the thermal camera. It's not terribly high resolution, but as you can see, it's quite bulky. It is designed for industrial applications, so you'd be pointing at a control panel or an engine or some kind of furnace or whatever you happen to be working on, and you can actually do voltage measurements and things and have them on the screen as well at the same time. Idea being you can see if there's a fuse getting really hot or some cabling overheating or whatever, something like that. The other camera that I have is actually even more industrial. It's another FLIR. This is one of the first thermal cameras I got to review, and this connects via and the network on Ethernet, TCP/IP. It supports Modbus and a bunch of things like that. But both of these two cameras, they're $1,500 each. That is horrendous compared to something that you can currently get for about $250. So, for certainly for hobbyists, for people that are moving around mobile, obviously this one is useless for somebody that's wanting to be mobile because you have to have it on the network. Obviously, while it's there, you can capture the images and video. This one is great, but you can't pull the information off of it. You can look, but you can't store it. So that's no good either. What we have here is something that's got the best of both worlds, in that you can store the images on your phone or on the laptop, Windows PC, Surface, whatever, and then you can review them afterwards. And it will do video as well rather than just statics too. And it's got a decent resolution IR sensor. So would I recommend it? Based on what I've seen so far, it seems quite capable. The resolution or the image quality seems as good as the the two FLIR cameras that I have. I haven't presented that in here because it's a quick review, but I will be using them later. This camera's only been available since July, from what I can tell, and it looks like it's a good competitor amongst the other thermal cameras in the market. I will provide links to where you can buy it from and to HIKMICRO's own website and documentation, and I will see you on the next video. One thing I did notice while I was playing around is that you can't focus too closely with this particular thermal imaging camera from HIKMICRO. They do have ones that focus much closer. This has about a 50-degree field of view, but the closest it can focus is about 0.2 meters. So that's what, 8-10 inches. So if you're trying to look at small components on a printed circuit board, it may not be the most ideal thermal camera for that. So here we have one of the videos when I was recording through the HIKMICRO analyzer. It's going to be the same as when you're on the iOS app or the Android app. And so we will turn the super IR is turned on there. If I turn it off, you can see it looks a bit blurrier, but remember this is only a 192 by 256